All praises, all praises, all praises. Go ahead and rotate this. All right, man. Give it a few seconds real quick. Let everybody hop in. Give it a few seconds. Let everybody hop in. All praises. I hope everybody's having a good day too today. We got a good one today, man. We got a good one. We got a good one today. Give it a couple seconds. Shalom, shalom. If you just popping in, we got a good one today. We got a good one today. Shalom, my brother Emmanuel. Shalom, King. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's pull this up real quick. All right, pull this up. All right, man. Shalom to everybody, man. I hope everybody's doing good, man. I hope everybody's doing good. Shalom, shalom. Hey, we got a good one today. Shalom, my boy J Fifth. My boy, what is that? Eaton. Shalom to you too. You know, I'm still out here in the Bay Area, so you know, we got nothing but time. You know what I mean? And we're gonna give ourselves to the dedication of the Most High. So today I wanted to talk to y'all about, man, make sure you take notes today. This is gonna be a great lesson, man. The image of God, man. Shalom, Marcus G. How you doing, man? Shalom, beloved. You know what I mean? I'm good to see y'all all in good spirits and great spirits. So let's just jump right into it, man. Today we talking about the image of God. All right. Now, if y'all know anything about me and this new channel is specifically dealing with me and encouraging you guys. All praises. Can't complain. I'm happy that you all right. I'm happy that you're doing well, King. I'm happy that you're doing well. So this particular let me go ahead and move this down a little bit. So this particular platform is going to be basically about like the upliftment of Israel, right? Physically, mentally, you know, also getting a little bit more personal with myself, you know what I mean? And upliftment of our community, right? So it's all about, you know, speaking positivity into your life, and trying to change the status quo of what we are and what the world sees us as Israelites, all right? How they look at us, how they view us, and just giving a new positive spin, all right? Giving a new positive spin of how the Most High actually views us as the children of Israel. So today we're talking about the image of God. Now, the image of God is very important, all right? I want everybody to understand this, that the image of God is very important, right? Pursuing to Genesis chapter 1, all right? The image of God, because let's go to Genesis chapter 1 real quick, all right? So a lot of people, just so you can understand, are we talking about the actual physical image of God, the color of Christ, like and things like that? We're not talking about that. This is all dealing with the spirit, all right? And you're going to find out how this lesson will literally revolutionize the way that you think. This lesson will literally revolutionize the productivity in your life. Okay, so this is what this lesson is catered to. It's to changing the way that you live your life. All right, changing the way that you see yourself upon this earth. Okay, that's what this lesson is catered to. So let's go to Genesis chapter 1 real quick, verse 26. All right, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Okay, so I'm going to read this. So it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right? So the Most High God said, let us create man in our image. So we already understand that what this is talking about. You know, we know that when you read the scriptures about the depiction of the Most High God, you see arms, you see feet, you see eyes, you see a head, so on and so forth. But I'm actually going to go a little bit different here with what this actually is pursuing to. Because it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right directly after he says, let us create man in our image, he goes into dominion. Okay? He goes into dominion right after that. So it says you're going to have dominion over the fish. You're going to have dominion over the air, the birds. You're going to have dominion over the cattle. You're going to have dominion over the bugs, which are the creeping things, right? He said you're going to have dominion. So this word image is actually, when we break it down, is pursuing to dominion. Now, this is important. I need everybody to pay attention to this. This is important because right now, what you are imagining your life to be, right, in your own mind, is why your life is the way it is today. I'm going to show you. We're going to get into this. I'm going to show you this. So it says, and God said, let us create man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. This, understanding this in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, understanding this will actually change your life. No cap. Understanding this will actually change your life. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys that today. Because if you understand this concept, you'll understand literally how to become God on earth. This is facts. Okay? Mentally. Because let's get the definition of image. I got the definition of image here, right? When you look up in the Strong's Concordance, it's going to say basically pursue to the same thing that is what the Webster Dictionary says. So here's the Webster definition of the word image, right? So image is a representation of the external form of a person or thing, right? It is a representation of the external form of a person or thing, right? So external, it's a representation of the external. So external means like this is external. All right, this is external. This is outside of yourself. This is external. Now, we also have what's called internal. So you have internal and you have external. So an image is a representation of an external form of a person or a thing in art. External, belonging to or forming an outer surface or structure of something. So external is this, right? So I want two words that I want y'all to not forget. This is deep stuff right here. This right here, it's all biblical based. Ain't no spookism or none of that. It's all biblical based, precepted down. I'm about to show y'all. All right. This is the type of content that I want to bring to you guys. Content that will change your life. All right. This is the type of content that I want to bring to you guys in the text. Right. So external is an outside representation of the internal. Now, everything starts with an internal thought, okay? Everything starts with an internal thought. So somebody had an internal thought of, I want to place water in this cup, okay? I want to place water in this cup. So now I have an internal thought, or, which we're going to get into, an imagination, all right? Notice the root word in imagination is image, okay? The root word in imagination is image, okay? So I have an imagination, which imagination starts eternally. I'm going to show y'all all of this is biblical. So imagination starts off in the internal. That's where you have your thoughts, your ideas, right? So you have your imagination, which is internal. And then from that imagination, us as being in the image of God, which remember, he says we're have dominion, right? When you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it says we will have dominion. But also what makes us in the replica image of God is because we have something that gives us the strength over every animal, everything that is upon the face of the planet. And the strength that we have is we have a thought process, which we call our imagination, right? We have the ability to think, and then we have the ability to take those thoughts and personify those thoughts in the physical realm, if you will, which is the external. Follow me, y'all. Follow me. This is important stuff. So we can literally take our imagination and manifest it before our eyes. For example, right now I'm streaming off of my phone. 70 years ago, this device was not even heard of. Somebody had to think of, I want to be able to take a picture of somebody all the way on one side of the world and then have another person on the other side of the world see this. Esau understands these concepts. He understands these concepts. And we used to understand these concepts. Understanding this concept gives you power automatically in your personal life. I'm going to show you how to use it. Scripturally, everything is scripturally based. So you have the internal, which is the imagination, and then you have the external, which is the imagination personified in the physical realm. Thought, then that thought is brought to the physical, right? And a lot of times our people don't understand that your thoughts are literally keeping you captive in your life. This is a fact. We're going to get it scripturally. Let's actually prove that, all right? So it's a quote that I actually wrote down. We create what we think about. All right? As humans, we create what we think about. What you think about is what you create. If you have low self-esteem, I have low self-esteem, I'm this, I'm that, what you create in your inner is what you're going to personify in your physical. And this is a fact. So we create what we think about. This is the power. You have this power whether you know it or not. This is a power that has been given to you as being a man and as being a child of God. Let's prove that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6. So God created us in his image. He has given us dominion, and he has also, the reason why we have dominion is because of our ability to think. Like, for instance, y'all heard about the 100 men versus one gorilla, right? It's no contest. Let's just be honest. I'm going to give y'all my take on it real quick. Now, it's no contest because the only way that we can even have that being a contest, watch this, I'm going to show y'all something. The only way that we can have that even being a contest is if you take away the human's ability. And I don't think that's fair. As I was thinking about it, I don't think that's fair in this debate. How can you take away the human's creativity when that's what makes us strong? That's like taking the gorilla's strength away. Like, no, you know, you're going to take a man as he is. 100 men versus one gorilla, men win easy. Matter of fact, you don't even need 100 men to even subdue a gorilla, right? You got zookeepers in zoos. They're subduing because that's what the Bible says. We are greater than them. You can't take our ability to think and make weaponry and say, nah, it gotta be straight hands. Nah, that's stupid. It's no contest. That's like me saying, okay, well, take away the gorilla's strength. You can't take away everything that works for the human strength and then give the gorilla everything that is for his strength. Nah. If we're going to do on equal ground, our strength is our minds. Their strength is their power. It's no contest. The Most High God has created us to be able to have thought processes and bring those thought processes into the physical. So we create what we think about. You create what you think about. Let's get Genesis chapter 6. I'm going to prove it to you in the scriptures. Let's get Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. It's Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. All right. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they looked upon, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he also is flesh. Okay. And it says, yet his days shall be 120 years. Verse 4. There was giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Verse 5 is what I want. And God saw that the wickedness of men was great upon the earth. So God seen that the wickedness of men was great upon the face of the earth. Okay? The wickedness of men was great upon the face of the earth. And it says, and that, so it was wicked. It says, and that, verse 6, it said, verse 5, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So the imagination, every imagination and thought of man's heart was only evil continually. And it says that evil was manifest on the earth. We create what we think about. All right. We create what we think about. So we had thoughts of evil, and those thoughts of evil created evils to multiply in the world. All right. And notice what it uses there. It says, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So if you think only evil, if you think evil, right, you're going to attract evil to you in your life. Let's break it down into a personal level. If you think evil, everything is negative with you in your life will be negative. If you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm gonna have a bad day today, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a bad day because you thought that, you imagined it, and you're gonna have it come forth in your life. If you wake up and you say, I'm gonna have a good day today, no matter what, I'm gonna have a good day today, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a good day. So you attract good and bad to you. I'm not saying that if you're a positive person, bad things won't happen. Yes, sometimes things don't go our way. But are we continuing to attract that negative thing? That's the key. That's the key. And that's what I want to show you guys today, using the scriptures of what not to do. So we create what we think about. If you are imagining evil, like what the scripture says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. We imagined evil and we pursued that evil upon the earth, right? Just like, there's certain procedures. There's certain procedures that can change your anatomy from man to woman. Well, that took a thought. Somebody had to have, I wonder if I can make a man a woman and a woman a man. That thought now is brought into reality because now we're going to manifest that thought from the eternal of the wicked soul. Now the external thought of that wicked deed is now walking around in the face of the earth. That's power. So we create what we think about. If you think about evil, that's what you're going to create. Now, let me look at the definition of imagination real quick. So imagination is, this is the Webster definition. It says the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. I'm going to read it one more time. This is all going hand in hand with what the Bible is saying. It says the faculty or action of forming new ideas, your ideas happen here, or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. So we're imagining things not present to the natural senses, meaning touch, smell, taste, vision, right? These ideas come from a different stratosphere or a different area. These different, whether wicked or righteous. Because on the flip side, you can have righteous ideas and righteous thoughts too. Remember, this is the power that man has, that the Most High has given men. So let's put it on a personal level. If you're thinking negative things in your mind, like for an example, if you got a job interview and you thinking, I'm not going to get the job, 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 I'm going to mess up, I'm going to mess up, I'm going to mess up. You're feeding that to yourself, and when you get in front of that person for that job interview, you're going to mess up. Now it's going to come out in the senses. It started from your thought pattern. Now it's going to come out in the senses. How does it come out in the senses? Because now you in front of them, they can clearly see you, which is a part of the senses. And now you're struggling, you're skipping over words, you're stuttering, all of that. And the people can pick up on that energy, and then you might not get the job because you wasn't going into a confidence. But if you go into a confidence like, look, I know who I am, and I'm going to get this job, right? I'm going to get this job. No matter what, I'm going to get this job. Now that eternal imagination, that eternal thought that's not readily available for the senses is now going to come out when people see you, right? Sight being a part of one of the senses. They're going to see you like, man, this brother confident. He spoke with strength and power. Whoop, whoop, and then you're going to get the job. So we create what we think about, whether evil or whether good. Now, another word I want y'all to get, right? Because remember, the Most High says he created man in his own image. So what am I saying in layman's terms? God created man in his own image. What does that mean? It means that we're the external thought of what the Most High had in his mind for us. Most High has an imagination. He create. We have an imagination and we create. Proverbs 23:7. I was actually going to go there. Yes. I was actually going to go there, right? So let's get, and shout out to my brother Kwaranat. Let's go ahead and look at this word knowledge for a second, right? So it says knowledge. When I look at this definition, facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject, awareness or familiarity gained by experience of a fact or situation. So knowledge is the skill acquired, right, by experience or education, right, or understanding of a subject. That's what knowledge is. The root word in knowledge is to know, okay? So with this information that I'm giving y'all, you know it, and then you apply it to your personal lives to give you good success. I'm going to show you. The root word in that is know. So know means be aware of through observation, inquiry, or information. All right. Now this is deep. Because what was the tree called? All right. What was the tree called in the Garden of Eden? I'm going to show you how imagination goes hand in hand with knowledge and to know. Because in order to imagine, right? So we're imagining something, you have to have the ability to know to a degree about a situation. So if I'm going to imagine evil, right, I have to know of its existence to a degree. All right, I have to know of its existence to a degree. And the way that you know things, which turns into knowledge, is through experience or through education or through the understanding of a subject. So this is actually very deep, because when you read Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, look at this. It's in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Look at what this says. It says, and the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord, verse 16, and the Lord God commanded man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. So it says in the knowledge. All right. It took knowledge of something that, remember, everything is starting here. This is the battlefield right here. The battlefield is this. Okay. This is the battlefield. This is not the battlefield. This physical plane that you see is not the battlefield. The battlefield is in your mind, right? So Most High God said, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge to know. Now, the Most High said when he created everything, everything was good. So we understood good. We understood what good was, because the Most High God said, He created everything, and everything he created was good. Everything he created was good. So Adam knew what good was. He knew what good was. But it says of good and evil. There was no understanding of evil per se, because he still knew that if I eat this tree, it's going to create good and evil. But he did not quite understand what it actually meant. And I'm going to show y'all this. What it actually meant of the evil, right? So it's kind of like cocaine, for an example. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. It is an upper. You take cocaine, and from what I hear, it gives you this feeling of just extreme, just energy and bliss, right? I know that, but I've never physically felt it. But I have the knowledge of it, of what it's supposed to do. But when I take it and I experience it, this is what knowledge is. So I might know something, but it becomes knowledge once I understand the subject, or I inquire the subject through it, or experience the subject, right? So you can know something, but it doesn't become knowledge yet. It becomes knowledge once you experience the situation. Like I can know, like, okay, I can have the knowledge of, or I can know, okay, driving the car. I know that a car drives. I want y'all to follow me. I know that a car drives. I know that. But I don't have the knowledge on how to drive a car. So I know that a car drives. I knew a car drove when I was a kid. I know that cars drive. But I didn't have the knowledge on how to drive a car. So this is what the Lord is telling Adam. Like Adam has he knows that if he takes part in that tree, he's going to understand evil. But he doesn't have the knowledge or the experience with evil yet until he takes part in that. Now, all of this is happening in the mind. So now once you take part in that evil, now you got a bigger problem. Are you going to now imagine and create more things on the left-hand side, or are you going to stick on the right-hand side and produce more fruitful things, fruitful thoughts, spiritual things, right? This is the battle that we got to face. Now, let's go from there. Let's go to... I think I read 2:15 and yeah, I already read 17. Let's go from there. I got a couple more that I want to show y'all. So this is Genesis 3. I already read 3 and 1. So obviously they took hold. Actually, no. 3 and 1. Let's actually read this. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. So so let's see this actually manifest. So Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the tree of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die." So she had to know, right? She had to know, and I'm going to tie all of this in. She had to know that the tree would make her die, all right? She had to know that the tree would make her die if she took part of it. She knew that. She had not yet the knowledge, meaning the experience of the thing, all right? See, Satan is crafty. Now, all of this is happening, right? Because all of this is an analogy. All of this is happening in here. She's looking at the tree. Watch what it says. It says, verse 4, "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." So once you know a concept, and this is how addictions form. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is how addictions form. See, we can know that cocaine is bad for you, right? We know cocaine is bad for you. But somebody comes to you and say, man, nah, cocaine ain't really that bad for you, man. And it actually gives you energy, because there is a form of truth to that. Cocaine does give you, it boosts you up. It gives you energy, gives you energy, boosts your whole vibe and your whole energy and all that. So somebody can tell you that once you take part in that drug, now you have the experience of it. Now you have the knowledge of how it feels. Now it becomes a crutch, because a lot of people, when you take a drug like that, you get hooked on it. Your first hit, you get hooked on it, and it's hard for you to stop. So this tree is kind of like that. Once you have a know of an idea, and you take part in that idea, it creates knowledge, and now you have to go through a battle of producing things that you imagine with that said drug, vice versa, right? Or not. So it says, verse 5, for God does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Verse 6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So now what happened? She seen it, and she thought, it does look good. It does look good. It looks very appealing. It starts here. It starts with a thought, right? It starts with knowing of something. It does look good. Okay, now that I know it looks good, I'm curious now to take part in this thing. This is how temptation is formed. All right, this is how temptation is formed. They eventually take part in this, and what happened? It says, verse 7, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. So now this is where knowledge is coming in. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So the knowledge of this is now they knowing it. So now they have the knowledge of it, of something. Nakedness is just going into shame. So now they have a shame associated with this new form knowledge that they have. And they understand it now. They understand the contrast between good and evil. And what understanding that contrast does is now it creates the ability of us being creators to now create certain things upon the earth. That's why when we went to that Genesis chapter 5, all right, or Genesis chapter 6, it says that the thoughts and imaginations of men were evil continually, because now we have knowledge of good and evil, and now we have a battle. We can either manifest evil upon the earth, or we can manifest goodness upon the earth. But see, evil feels good to the flesh, and we want to appease that. So that's the battle that we have to fight. Now, where am I going with all of this? Let's get Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. Where am I going with all of this? And this is what my brother Corwin Opera brought out. Proverbs chapter 23. And let's read verse 7. It says Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. Watch what it says. For as he thinketh in his heart, so shall he be. Oh, so is he. Eat and drink, says he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. So your heart is just an example of your mind. So as a man thinketh with his heart, or his mind, so shall he be. So the Bible's giving you the blueprint. If you're thinking negative all day, every day, you're going to attract negativity. As a man thinketh, so shall he be. If you think negative all day, every day, then you're going to attract negativity in your life, in your personal realm. The world as a whole is on a negative frequency right now. That's why Esau bails you down with constantly fornication on TV, constantly drug abuse on TV, constantly sexualizing our people, constantly evil. When you wake up, you grab your phone, you're either programming yourself to have negative, sinful nature of man, or you're going to program yourself to have the positive. It's kind of like an algorithm. Esau understands this. This is what an algorithm is. All right? This is what an algorithm is. Algorithm is what you constantly look at on your phone it's going to be what constantly promoted to you. That's what an algorithm is. An algorithm is nothing but a spiritual concept of what you do up here. What you constantly dwell upon is what you're going to bring upon you. If you speak negative in your life, that is what you're going to bring upon you, right? As a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever you think, that's what you are. This is facts. This is facts, right? So if you thinking about the power of the Most High and the commandments of the Most High, and you constantly thinking and dwelling on spiritual things, you will become a spiritual man. If you're thinking about carnal things, this is why you have to meditate on the word day and night. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15, verse 19. Look at what Matthew chapter 15, verse 19 says. Matthew chapter 15, verse 19. Look at what Christ says. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulterers, fornications, theft, false witnesses, blasphemies. But it says all of these things proceed out of the heart. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts. So these evil thoughts proceed out of the heart. It all starts with a thought. This is why Christ said, if you look upon another man's wife, all right? If you look upon another man's wife, okay, then you have already committed fornication with her, all right? Put sevens if my connection is still good. Put sevens in the chat if my connection, okay. I just want to make sure my connection is still good. Let me know if my connection is still good. All right. Okay, all praises. So, Christ says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulterers, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. So all of this comes out of the thoughts. Okay, out of your thoughts. It says, these things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands. So wait, let's go up a little bit more. Let me get let me see. Let's read verse 18. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile the man. So Christ is saying the things that come in your heart, the things that come out of your mouth come from the heart being your mind, and that is what defiles you. So if this is how it works. If I'm sitting here and then I see an ad of pornography on TV, now I'm thinking about the pornography. If I don't hurry up and get that thought out of my mind, then I will bring that thought into the external world by typing up some type of fornication to indulge in that. So if your mind is evil, then you're going to just continue to bring forth evil. Okay? Let's go from there. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. 17 and 9 real quick. So we have power. We are made in the image of God, meaning we can create we can create our reality. Okay? We can create our reality. Just like the Most High can create his reality, or he created our reality for us. He has given us the ability upon this earth to create the reality that we imagine within ourselves. If we imagine evil, then that's what we will create. If we imagine positivity, then that's what we would create. All right. This is a superpower. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So the heart is evil, naturally. But we as the creators, or the creator's creation, he has given us the ability to counteract that initial evil thought that we got from the knowledge, all right, of God. Yes, absolutely. Basically, God wants us to have his subconscious mind. Bingo. Bingo. That is That is well said, my brother. That was well, yes. God wants us to get into his frequency. God wants us to tap into his image. That's why he says in Joshua 1 and 8, you have to meditate on his word day and night. Why is it important for you to meditate? Because God could easily just bing the information in your head. No, he says he wants you to meditate on it. Like, if you can tell, it says, because I read the book about the subconscious mind and its greatest gift to man. Yes, it is. It's the greatest gift that God has given to us. Our subconscious thoughts, we can manifest right now. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm in the Bay Area right now. Okay, I'm in the Bay Area. I had a dream. That's why dreams are important. Dreams are very important. All right, dreams are very important. Shalom, my dear beloved righteous brother. Much love to you and the fam. Shalom, sister Aina. Love you and good to see you. So I had a dream some years back that I moved to the Bay Area. Okay, and I lived in the Bay Area. Now I had this dream probably like maybe 5 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago I had this dream. I told my wife about this dream. And now that dream has manifested in my life because I am currently living in the Bay Area. I am currently here living in the Bay Area. All right. So that's why dreams are important. And the Most High communicates to us through dreams because it all happens here. Are we back? I'm sorry, I'll be having this internet problem. Hopefully we back. We back, guys? Can y'all see me? Put 7s if y'all can see me. We back? All right. I tell you, that internet, boy. I tell you. All right, we back. We back. So, let's just go ahead and jump right back into it. So basically, what point was I making? Before my internet kind of made us kind of disconnect. Hold on 1 second. Internet sucks around here. So let's go ahead and let's get Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. Let's get Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. Shalom. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, family. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, all praises. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Thank you, sis. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So basically, I manifested what I thought about or what I dreamt about. I manifested. I had a dream that I moved to the Bay Area, and then that's what happened, right? I moved to the Bay Area. So basically, the whole point is whatever we think about, whatever we tune ourselves into, that is what we're going to manifest in our lives. Let's get Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 real quick. All right. Matthew chapter 6. And 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal, right? For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be. So whatever we choose to focus our minds on, that's where our heart will be. Verse 22, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So the Most High says, look, whatever we dwell upon, whatever we think upon, that is what we're going to manifest. That is the power that God has given us, whether on the right hand or the left hand side. It says, if your eye be single, right? If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Verse 23, but if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? So the Most High is letting us know, whatever you dwell upon, that is what you're going to receive. You can either dwell upon life or you could dwell upon death. That is what you're going to receive. We create what we think. All right. We create what we think. So start thinking and attracting positivity and righteousness in your life. You'll start to see more positivity and righteousness around you. That'll start manifesting around you. Okay? Start replacing evil, negative thoughts with good, positive thoughts. Right? Good, positive. Because Ephesians 6:12 says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities in heavenly places. This battle is not a physical one. This battle is a spiritual battle. And it all takes part here. God has created us in his image, but now through deception of the devil, we're able to imagine evil and good things. Change the tune of what you think so that you can start to imagine good, productive, positive things. Once you do that, then you will have power in your life. Change your thinking. Start changing your thinking, the way you think, the way you analyze things. Read your scriptures daily. Meditate day and night. You want to have positivity? Meditate on this day and night and follow this when you meditate it. So whatever you think, that's what you're going to do. That's how you're going to walk. Start meditating on this and live in the image of God. Right? The image of God is righteousness. Don't live in the image of man, which is that wickedness. All right. So I wanted to just share that with y'all. We've been on here for an hour. I want to say I love all of y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely don't want the internet to cut out again, but I want to say this. You are what you think about. You create what you think about. Start thinking about and using that power that God gave you to start to think about productivity and positivity in your life to attract positive things to yourself. All right. Start doing that. Start putting it in practice. Start putting it in practice. Start thinking good things. Start, like this right here. Like when Christ did this. Matthew 5. I love Matthew 5. So Matthew 5 verse 2 says, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. When you start feeling poor in spirit, go read this Matthew chapter 5 verse 3 and say, man, I'm blessed. Blessed is the poor in spirit. Now I'm blessed. Verse 4, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. You might get sad every now and then. That's a human emotion. It's all right. But you got to train yourself. You know what? But I'm still blessed. It says, blessed are they that mourn. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. You might not be the richest. We might not be the richest and have the money and the fast cars, but that's not what gives us success, though. It says, blessed are the meek. It says, blessed are they which are hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be fulfilled. You're blessed when you want to thirst for righteousness. This is things you got to start programming in your mind, counteract those negative things, and say, no, I'm actually blessed. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is the reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So start to say these positive things. I am blessed. I am blessed. Blessed is the peacemaker. Blessed is when people look at you and say, look at them. They trying to be righteous. Man, you are blessed. Start feeding. Don't feed yourself, because that's when people start getting ashamed of the gospel. Oh, man, these fringes. Them fringes look funny on you. They start thinking, they do kind of look funny. Then that thought starts to turn into hiding your fringes. And then hiding your fringes starts to make you start to rationalize, well, maybe we don't got to wear fringes. You see? But when you start thinking, you know what? I'm still blessed that you persecuting me. And I'm going to wear my fringes even harder now, because in my mind, it's not a curse to wear my fringes. I'm blessed to wear these things. Start speaking life, because regardless if y'all know it or not, you're going to attract good or bad to yourself. My message is for you to attract good. Be the image of God. We are created in the image of God, meaning we are creators. It starts from the imagination. If you imagine evil, you will have evil. If you imagine good, you will have good. Right? You will have good. So practice it. Wake up in the morning and practice it with your algorithm on your phones. Because like I told y'all earlier, the algorithm is nothing but the understanding of this concept. Whatever you watch the most, that's what's going to be in your algorithm. That's what's going to be in your YouTube feed. That's what's going to be on your Facebook feed. Start to clear all of that evil out and start just putting good stuff in your algorithm. Put good stuff in your algorithm so that your eye can be single. All right. Love y'all. Until next time, we'll wind it back if you didn't see it. Like, subscribe, and share if you haven't. Also, make sure you click that link or click the bell so you can get the notifications that we live. And I love y'all. Hope this was edifying to y'all. And until next time, Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Let me turn this back around. My bad.